I'm still here at my mom's, and this is my May wrap-up. In the month of May, I read 4 books, and I started 2 others, so those will be part of my June TBR at the end of this video. But first, I'm going to talk about the books that I finished in May. The first book I read was Me Before You by Jojo Moyes, and I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, but there were some problematic things in it. Like, some things just kind of didn't make sense with the characters and just little things like that. And a lot of people are really upset with how this book ended. I can't really say I'm upset with it because I don't want to spoil anything, so I can't really say why. I actually really enjoyed how the author ended this. It was very refreshing, and it didn't really follow the normal path that these books usually take. For those of you who don't know, this is about a girl who ends up working for a guy who's in a wheelchair, and just their story. I don't really want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but that's just the main overall thing. Eccentric girl and playboy adventurous who's now in a wheelchair. So it's fun and it's dramatic and life, I guess. The next book I read in April was Don't Expect Magic by Kathy McCullough, and I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It's about a girl whose mom passes away, so she ends up moving in with her dad across the country, and she finds out that she is a fairy godmother. Now, the main character is 15 in this book, so it is for much younger readers. If I was basing it on how I would view it today, I would probably give it a 3 stars, but I'm judging it on what I would have viewed it as if I was reading it around the time that I was actually appropriate for this age group for this book. Because the main character in this book is an artist. She takes old boots and she paints them and she cuts them up and she turns them into awesome works of art. And I really connected with that. The boots on the cover here is really disappointing because, like, they're just plain boots with studs around the ankles, but she does so much more to them, and I really wish they would have shown something like that on the cover instead of just these plain everyday boots that anybody could buy. But I found this to be really sweet, and it has a very good meaning for kids. So I think 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is the second book in that duology, and that is Who Needs Magic by Kathy McCullough. This book definitely suffered from second book syndrome. It wasn't written nearly as well as the first one. I still enjoyed it, and I still thought that it had a good story to it, or a good meaning to the story, but it took me a lot longer to read it, and I didn't enjoy it quite as much as the first one. So just 3 out of 5 instead of 4 stars on this one. And the last book that I finished in May is Once Dead, Twice Shy by Kim Harrison, and I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It is about Grim Reapers and angels, and I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but it was really awesome, and the main character's dead, so that was interesting. The second book in the series is Early to Death, Early to Rise, and that is the first book on my June TBR because I started it but I didn't finish it, but I don't have it with me today to show you. Sorry. And the next book that I have for my June TBR is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is the first book in the Wheel of Time series. It's a high fantasy series, and I actually just finished this, but it's already June, so you'll have to wait for my June wrap-up to see what I thought of it. I read most of it on audiobook, but I found that I actually enjoy physically reading the high fantasy books a lot more than listening to them on audiobook, because I actually get into the story more and I understand what's going on a little more because I retain the information better, I guess. This is the second book on my June TBR, and I have a third book, which is City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare, book 4 in the Mortal Instruments series. Wow. Clouds. It just got really dark. My mom's laughing at me over there. But City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare, book 4 in the Mortal Instruments series. I'm going to get to it if I can. I also might read The Great Hunt, which is book 2 in the Wheel of Time series. So that's 4 books that I have possibly to read in June. So that's my May wrap up, and that's all I have for this video, so I will see you next time. Bye! Wow. The light is weird in this video.
Oh my goodness, yes.